Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Haida Day Global Edition Open House. I am so excited to have many people around the table joining me today, representatives from our different schools here at Herberger Institute that have online programs. So, sitting directly next to me is Pavan Taguro from Arts, Media, and Engineering.
Hello.
Over here on my other side is Al Samt from the Design School. And off to my side is Kevin Godfrey from the School of Art. Also on Zoom, we have both Peter Murietti and Melissa Dickman representing the film school. Hey, people, hey. Yay.
Yay.
Hey,
Right,
hello.
so we thought that today would be a nice time just to have each talk about different programs that they have in their online degree programs, give you a little bit of opportunity to get to know a little bit more about the school, and then there'll be time for questions when we're done. So we're going to start with Kevin, actually, talking about the School of Arts and some of the wonderful programs that you can do through their online programming.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Kevin. I'm a curriculum coordinator with the School of Art. We have several online programs we're going to kind of briefly talk to you about today. The first are the slides up? There we go. Yay. Okay. Here we go. The first is our online BA in Art History. This is a really awesome program. We can go to the next slide and it has some information on it. So some of the things you can do with a degree in art history would be like curation, museum directing, conservation, art publishing, archiving, eventually working as a professor of art history, etc. Some of the classes include things like history of photography, art of Africa, Oceania, and the Americas, medieval art. We've got classes on art of the comic. Also, we have a class on anime and the history of animation. And then we have things like art of Japan, art of China, things of that nature. So really like a global and also different time period perspective in that degree. The next degree is our degree in museum studies, I think, is the next set of slides. I hope I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's it. Woohoo. So this degree, as you'll see on the next slide, is really focused on people who want to work in museums, both traditional and non-traditional museums, or even potentially heritage sites. So if you're thinking like, I want to work someplace like Stonehenge or the Grand Canyon, like this is the degree that would help you work towards those aspirations. Or non-traditional museums like, for instance, here in the Valley, we have the Musical Instrument Museum. So it's not all just, museums with paintings and things like that. And so some of the classes that are included in there, we have classes on, global museum studies. We have classes on things like gender and sexuality in museums. If you want to advance to the next slide, that'd be great. Curatorial activism, contemporary indigenous art in museums, which is taught by someone who works for the very well-known Heard Museum here in the Valley. So yeah, those are all great things about museum studies. The next degree that we're going to talk about is actually our online BFA in digital photography. So if you know anything about online degrees, BFAs are actually fairly rare online. They're usually BAs. But this is a studio-focused degree. You will be using a camera and taking photos in almost all of your classes. So we've got great like skills-based classes like digital photography 1 and 2, advanced techniques, things like that. But we also have things like photographing land in place, death in photography. We have a class on spirituality in photography, text in photography that are all like really great electives in the degree. And obviously with this degree, you could do things like be a photographer or a film editor or fine artist, or maybe a specialist in a photo lab, or an art director, or things like that. Then we have our newest online degree, which is our BA in Art Studies. So the BA in Art Studies is really like a generalist degree that allows you to really tailor the degree to whatever your needs are as a student. So it's got a lot of space for electives in whatever studio form that works for you, or multiple studio forms that work for you. And then it allows you to take complementary classes. It's almost interdisciplinary in a way. So you'll take some core classes in drawing, photography, printmaking, and digital design. And then you'll also take things like contemporary art. You could take things like watercolor. We've got a great class called the medium of cut botanicals, which is all about the artistry behind like flower arranging and different florals and botanical cuts. And some of the careers are, working in graphic design or a craft artist or a fine artist or design careers as well. So that's it for all of our full degrees, but we do actually have 2 online minors that are available. And both of these are really designed so that you can complement your bachelor's degree with, creativity and critical thinking through art practice. So the first one is our studio art minor, which allows you to, again, just like art studies, focus on one technique and form or multiple if you want. So there are classes in painting, printmaking, drawing, sculpture, and making. And these classes are all classes where you'll actually get your hands dirty and make art. So even though they're online, you will be in your homes or wherever you choose to take class from, and you'll actually be physically making art. So like I said, you'll expand critical thinking and creative problem solving skills. The coursework is really flexible. So there's one specific required class, which is Art in My World. And then the rest is really a series of options between upper division and lower division classes that are available online. The other minor that we're offering right now is the fashion minor online. This is actually slated to start in the fall. So this will be the first year that we start offering it, which is really exciting. There are definitely not a lot of online fashion options around the country. So we're really excited to be on the cutting edge of this. Again, this is definitely designed to foster creative thinking and critical thinking and creative problem solving skills to complement your other degrees. So if you're getting a degree in business or design or communications, but you want to work within the fashion industry, this is a great way to expand those skills. It's grounded in the history, the social context, and the economics of the industry. And it's taught by well-known fashion industry professionals. All of our faculty that work for the fashion program are actual working fashion artists or administrators or PR people or stylists. They're all working in the industry right now as well as teaching for us. So it's a 19 credit hour minor. There's one required class, which is our textiles survey and lab class, which is really about the science behind textiles and fabrics. And then you've got a bunch of electives that you can choose between different areas. So apparel design, business and merchandising, culture, criticism, things like that. So a really exciting option that we've had in person for a while, and we're excited to start offering online. And of course, we have more to come. We actually have some degrees and minors that are being developed right now, which I'm not allowed to talk to you about. But stay tuned because there's more to come from the School of Art. So and then I put questions, but I think we're holding those to the end.
Well, those are wonderful degrees. I want to take all those classes. Sign me up. On my free time when I'm not hanging out, being the dean or teaching, I'm going to be in the art school, taking classes in person and online. I want to hand it over to Pavan next to tell us just a little bit about AME, the program, when the school got started, because I know it's one of our newer schools, and then anything about our online programs offered through AME that you'd like to tell us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lolita. So I represent the School of Arts, Media and Engineering. We are the newest school in Herberger. We started roughly 2009, and our online program launched only in the last year or so, 18 months or so. So we're really new in the online space, and we only have one program. It's called the Bachelor of Arts in Media, Arts and Sciences. And if you search for Media, Arts and Sciences on degree search, you might not find it because it appears under the name of Digital Culture, which is being renamed as we speak. We just got approvals to rename it last week, and the degree search should update in the next few weeks. So if you want to look at it now, I would say look for Digital Culture, but it will be renamed sometime in the next few weeks to Media, Arts and Sciences. That name, Media, Arts and Sciences, and this renaming is a hat tip to how our program is, which is we are a slightly technical focused school. We talk about how do you code in the techniques and technologies and environments that create media. And that means everything from game engines to virtual reality platforms to machine learning and AI tools for art making. Also circuit building, how do you embed circuits and electronics into fabric, put them into products, make products alive with interaction and touch. So the technical side of a lot of the stuff that you can work with in media is what we specialize in. But we also allow students to take a bunch of classes in the broader Herberger schools, because all these skill sets are useful for nearly all the things that happen in Herberger, including wearables for fashion, or new interfaces for musical expression, or using VR for architectural visualization. So all these things, the techniques and tools are broadly applicable, but our school is noted for its grounding in those technical toolkits. Typical career pathways are, a range of things where you need some of those, skill sets to for media editing, for animation, for game design, for being a motion capture engineer. So all the back-end technical jobs that enable the shiny performances in Hollywood, for instance, those would be the types of jobs that we would prepare you extremely well for. And at this time, we only have one program. It's the BA. We don't yet have a BS, but it might be something that we will look to launch in the next few years. We want to see how the program grows because it's still so new. Yeah, that's the highlights for what we have right now.
That's wonderful. Again, nice to hear about a new program and how it's building and changing over time and being so flexible. I'm thinking about wearables with music therapy. I'm like, let me know more, right? The design. Al, can I kick it over to you next to talk about some things from the design school?
Sure.
Great.
My name is Al Samft. I'm program head for graphic design. Just a little bit about the design school. It's gone through different name iterations, but it really originated in the mid-60s with the architecture program. And then interiors was added, industrial was added, and we actually joined what was then the College of Architecture and Environmental Design in 1996. And so that comprises the 5 programs that are in the design school. Currently, we have 2 online programs. The first one is the MArch program. And so it's a 2-year program, but I will add that the 2-year program is for individuals that have an undergrad degree in architecture. And then they want to, for students that don't have a degree in architecture, there is a 3-year program for them. So that first year is really fundamentals, and then you enter with the next cohort for the 2-year program. And then, so all the programs in the design school are professionally accredited programs. So there's an outside accreditation board that comes in and accredits us. And so the next online program that we have is the Bachelor of Science in Design, Graphic Design. It's a 4-year full studio program. And so that was started 3 years ago. So it's a new program. In fact, both of these are new, but it's receiving quite a bit of success, and we've doubled our numbers every year since we started. And so we started with about 48 students the first year, and we have 700 plus students in the 3rd year. So we're putting the advising team really to work, but they've been really great in getting that together. So I think all of our programs will have an online component to it, but those that are already in the can, as you see on the slide, is MID, Industrial Design. They will have a 2-year program that will launch spring 2024. And so similar to the ARC program, it will have a 3rd year component where for those that don't have a degree in industrial design, that first year is really a catch-up year. And then the MVCD program, which will launch in fall 2024, will accompany that. And as I said, there will be others that will be coming from the other programs, but right now these are the only 2 that are actually in the works and with a date to launch. And so any questions, we can take that after we're done. Thank you.
And I think that's amazing to see the inclusivity, that it's not just for people who only had their bachelor's in those degrees, that there's a space for an alternative entry track. So that's great. And to hear about your growth, that's amazing. Like, how many people were wanting this and you didn't even know it?
That's right.
Yeah. So now we're going to turn it over to Zoom for our friends from the Sidney Poitier New American Film School, both Melissa and Peter. So I'm going to let y'all take it away. Tell us about things that are going online for y'all and the school in general. And then after Melissa and Peter are done, we can take questions for everybody.
Terrific. Thank you so much. These are exciting programs to hear about from y'all over there. Um, just to give you guys a little picture of what life is like in the Poitier School and what's life for the deputy director of the school. I'm pulled over on the side of the road. I'm on the way to a community college where I'll be meeting with their curricular team today in Los Angeles, West LA College, talking about ways to get their students into our community college transfer immersion program in Los Angeles. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second. Um, and It's kind of an exciting time for us. We are a new school. We are maybe 2 years old. We're coming up on 2 years old. We're an old unit, but we've been made our own school, and the naming was about a year and a half ago, and we're very excited about that with the Portier family. Um, Online degrees. I heard one of my colleagues say there are things in the work that they can't talk about, and I'm always a little bit of a maverick, so I'm going to say there's things on in the works that I am going to talk about. And if I'm in trouble for it later, then you know what? Somebody can come find me. I'm in an undisclosed location on the side of the road, right? Because we're new, we're looking at and we're engaged definitely in the process of moving our BA degree online. We're looking right now at a target of fall 24. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to be a Bachelor of Arts in the film making practices degree that exists right now as an immersion degree. We're working through that process, and we're excited about that happening in a year. If you have any questions about that, you can go ahead and email me or my colleague Melissa, and you can just get a hold of me at peter.murrieta, Murrieta at asu.edu. As far as the other things going on, we are launching in the fall a community college transfer degree program in Los Angeles, an immersion degree where you're going to take classes in downtown LA, brand new building down there that we've been inhabiting for about a year, along with our semester in LA programs. And we're looking forward to that. We're going to have some one-to-one internships for the people that take those courses and get on that degree path. We're going to waive application fees for those folks that want to join our first cohort. And we're working with our scholarship committee to make sure that the prices are at or near Arizona in-state. If you're a local community college, LA, Southern California student looking to get a film degree, come check us out. Melissa, am I leaving anything out?
Not really. Do you want to talk about some of the fun people we have in LA with you?
Sure. That's great. What a great co-host. I would, yeah, very exciting. Two of the new professors that are here in LA are colleagues of mine for 20 years, and they are MacArthur Grant Fellows from last year. They're independent filmmakers. They make documentaries. They make narrative films. Their names are Christina Ibarra and Alex Rivera. They're both partners, and they also do solo work. And they're doing right now a personal documentary class for our semester in LA students, where they get to make their own personal doc in the class. I'm teaching a screenwriting class down there. That's my background professionally. Um, and I've got a show coming out in May. So we've got a really engaged faculty with the business of filmmaking, television making out here in LA. And we are so excited to be that kind of faculty. It's going to be engaging with those transfer students in the fall.
I would also add to that, we really have, we're building out the internship program in Los Angeles so that every student who is in person in LA hopefully gets an internship and a paid internship at that. And we'll
Yes.
be putting out some videos very soon because we've had 3 of our students just from the last year, their internships flipped into full-time paid work with 3 Arts Management Company upon their completion of their internship. So we're really excited about seeing how some of our alumni are being activated in the spaces and like going forward.
Yeah, if you pardon our energy and our moving and my literally moving in a car about to be, it kind of is good. I love that this is getting captured because we are building this thing right now and we're creating those partnerships and we are very excited.
Great.
Thank you. Back to
Thank
you
y'all for
guys.
that. It's so neat to
Headquarters.
see the growth. And I think that's the one common denominator I heard amongst all the representatives today. It's just how much growth is happening in these online programs and what you hope to see from your students and then the students who will then turn into alumni. Do we have any questions that might appear in the chat or anyone that wants to unmute themselves?
Graphic design major Hannah Butler says, loving the courses, grateful to be a part of the design school. Any advice for online students going into the field?
Okay, so this is for the design school.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
wow.
Thank you for that question. What I would do is maybe contact or look up aiga.org. That is the professional organization, and begin to look at some of the things that they're talking about so that you're current, and when you get out into the field, what is actually going on in the field. So if you look at that website, that's usually the best place to see what professionals are doing, so that when you're in the classroom, you begin to kind of see, okay, if that's where the profession is, that's the things that they'll be looking for in your portfolio. And so that's what we encourage students to do. And I don't know what level you are. The other thing that you might consider is, preparing for an internship, because that's a required thing in the program. Begin to look and see what kind of work would you like to do and who's doing it across the country. And so that's always what I advise students early on, just to find out who's doing what that you might enjoy doing, and then finding out who's doing it. One of the best places to do that is certainly in our professional journals. And a good one is Print Magazine, because they actually have the September-October issue usually divides up the country into different sections, and you can actually see who's doing what in any part of the country. And then you can just begin to see who does internships. And so what I would do in terms of finding out who does, just call them. They can tell you exactly if they're going to offer an internship. And it's better than writing an email, because an email may take longer and it may not get to the right person. But the person that answers the phone can tell you exactly if they offer an internship and what are the requirements for it. So those are the couple things that you might do just to prepare for the profession.
What was that website again?
aiga.org. If you'll put that in the chat. Thank you.
Can I
Yes,
also
please.
add, I don't work for design, but in general for folks in our programs, online or in person, who are coming up to their last year, we do have at Herberger, we do have the Creative Career Services Office, and they do a lot of work in preparing students to go get jobs. So they will go over your resume with you, they'll do mock interviews, they will help you with all of that stuff so that you feel less nervous in that process, and you come prepared with like good documents for that, and they'll teach you how to like read a job ad and write a cover letter. They'll help you with all those things. So that's a really great resource that you can just Herberger Creative Career Services.
Thank you.
Great. I have a question while we're waiting for questions to roll in. For any of my other colleagues at the table, are there organizations that the students who are in the online program should be connecting with related to your field, that are either in their community or just national or regional? Anything that comes to mind?
Maybe because I just talked about AIGA, that there are chapters in every major city. So wherever you're at, look up the AIGA chapter, and you can find that out in the website that is in the chat. And so if you connect with your local, that's a good way to get started.
Great.
I mean, the field of media arts and sciences is, it's not as formally established like some of these other disciplines. There aren't any agencies or accreditation pathways to look for, and the journals would be, I would say at this point of time, it's very much a thing in flux. But there are some big conferences in this area. I mean, if you're going to be looking at game engines, for example, there is a whole game developers conference. If you're going to be specializing in, let's say, VR, there will be some analogous, conferences in that area. It's a very fast-moving field. So I don't think there are publications I can point to, but there are many, many professional conferences that happen in all these topic areas. Wearables is another big thing. Yeah, we go to conferences more so than journals. New Interfaces in Musical Expression is a major conference. Movement in Computing is a major conference. And that's where we find out what's happening in the latest. But the advice is similar, which is you have to look at what other people are doing and track the latest and find how that connects to you.
Yeah.
I could.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. Go ahead, Peter. You go.
Oh, I was going to say, one of the things that we over in the film leadership talk about all the time, especially with the makeup of our student body, a lot of first gen students, a lot of underserved communities. Myself being an example of someone, not an alumnus of ASU, but who grew up in a world where I didn't know anything about the field I'm in now. There are so many jobs you don't even know are jobs. And if you're interested in film and TV and all these things that we do, one of the easiest ways to do is to start on IMDb, the thing that we always go to when we're trying to look for who was the director of that movie, and look at the crew, look at that crew tab, and go down there and find some titles, and then go to those people and see what else they've done, and start to understand. Go to Wikipedia and find out, what does a gaffer do, what does a grip do, what does a camera assistant do. Just start to educate yourself, because if you're really serious about this and you're going to start an online degree path, it would be so much more helpful if when you get to an internship piece or you're talking about what class to take, if you've got a little bit in your backpack already in terms of, hey, I've found these 5 or 6 jobs that are kind of interesting to me, because we'll help you figure it out. And we'll also tell you, oh, if you like that job, you might also like this job. That's one of the biggest roles I think that we feel like we will serve as a school.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, I don't know particularly like organizations or conferences you can go to, but I would say for the School of Art, our degrees are there's a lot that you could do with them. So my primary advice would be to find an instructor or faculty member that is researching or doing the thing that you want to do, and then talk to them about what you should get involved in order to have a similar career path. So if you really, if you're an art studies student and you really connect with the person who's teaching making a seeing and thinking, for instance, which is a sculpture class, email that person, get to know them, and get to know what their professional experience has been with every. And I can't say this with absolute certainty, but the vast majority of folks who are teaching for Herberger across the board are working artists or researchers outside of the class that they're teaching for you. So they probably know best how to go get a job in that art field. So pick their brain, ask them to meet with you during office hours or over Zoom, and get to know how they got work as an artist.
Great. Any other questions, you can put them in the chat as we're here for a few more minutes. I do have another group question though, and that is, what do you think it takes to be a successful online student? Because it's a little different than being an in-person student. What are some tips that makes it successful? Or if you've seen students who've been successful going through an online program? And anyone can answer first, even our friends on Zoom.
If I may begin.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, I have seen online students sometimes reach out to faculty, even those who they're not taking a class with, and they will say, hey, I'm taking this class XYZ, but I want to explore this other idea that connects with your research interests. Can I just hop on a call with you? And I would highly encourage you to do that. Don't think of yourself as stuck in the online bucket. You can certainly reach out to faculty whose classes you may not even be taking. We are all ASU students, and you have access to all ASU faculty and their research. I mean, of course, depending on the time of the faculty and all that, but there is nothing that says you cannot reach out and create a conversation. I've seen students do remote internships. I've seen students try and do remote research activities without ever being present on the Tempe campus or ASU campuses. It's all possible. I've also mentored fully online capstones, and it's mind-blowing what's possible. I was one of the more skeptical people on the online capstone set of things, but I was blown by what I saw happen when students communicated with faculty as if they are here. And it's entirely possible that we will communicate with you as if you are here.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can add to that.
Anyone else?
I can add to that.
I would just say that the biggest difference in instruction between in-person and online is that your online classes are what we like to call asynchronous, right? So you're not going to class on certain days at certain times all the time. And there's no one there sort of demanding that you pay attention to what you're being taught. You have to get online, you have to watch the videos, you have to read the articles, you have to participate in the discussion forums. You have to make that happen for yourself. So the successful online student is really self-driven and is pushing themselves. That's not to say that the faculty won't push you. It's just a different relationship because it's through a screen or through email or through the occasional Zoom call. So I would say, keep reminding yourself of that, and then also like celebrate your wins because it does feel different. But when you complete a semester, and you got the GPA that you wanted, or you finished this really demanding project, like celebrate that for yourself. Because it is different. You're not in a classroom with 30 of your peers cheering you on. You're at home or at the coffee shop down the street, or at your job, but like figure out a way to celebrate that for yourself as well and mark those milestones as you go through the degree. I think that's it.
You wanted to add something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was going to add to I think what Pavan was saying. With film, with television, with any sort of film media, there's a collaborative process to it. Even if you're in an asynchronous world, can you guys hear me? Okay. And one of the things that we're working on right now under the hood while we're waiting for the rollout of our online degree in fall 24 is how to approach that, how to turn some of our challenges into opportunities. Two of our courses are collaborative courses that are all about making things together. We're working hard and diligently with our faculty and other experts to turn those into virtual production classes, which will not only give you the online experience, but also those classes might be available to any of our immersion students as well, because virtual production is a growth industry. I shot a show for Amazon this past summer in New Mexico, and I think we did all of the post production was all remote. Various cities the producers and the editors were in, and getting those skills are going to be really important to you entering an industry that's in flux technology wise. And so we really think that there's going to be opportunities inside our online degree for you to get those skills ready to go.
Let me add something, and all of those really are wonderful examples and ideas. I've taught studio for, I won't say how many years, but I taught my first online course in the first session of this semester. And so one of the things that I always tell my in-person students is to be curious, especially about the profession that you're going to go in or whatever. And, even though we're going to give you the skills and the toolbox that you can be successful with, but there's so many other things that you bring to the table that might be exciting, and that every student has that comes to the program. Is there something that you might enjoy? How might you bring that in to the graphic design area? And then there are other classes at ASU that might be able to help you reach whatever goal it is. And I think that's kind of the new student nowadays. Is it's not specifically what you take, even though that's what we're going to prepare you for. But be curious about other things and go out and find out about it. You'll be surprised how that might come in to help you in your studio. And so what I found with some of the students that I taught was that curiosity, and when I saw some of the projects that they were doing, I was amazed at how much research they already had done about the profession. And so that they knew who was doing what in the city that they were living in. And I thought that was really exciting to me, that they took initiative to find out who in that city. And so I had students in Las Vegas, I had students in Illinois, California. And so the ones that I think were doing some of the better work were those that were going out and informing themselves, what is the caliber that the profession was expecting. And it really showed up in the work that they were doing for the projects that I had for them. So if I could add anything along with what has already been said, that might be something that is helpful for you.
You know, so what you just said reminds me of this great book. I actually tell a lot of college students to read this book. It's called Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Rilke. And it's this young poet who wrote Rainer Maria Rilke, who was a poet, and said, I want to be a poet. Will you read some of my stuff? And so he wrote a series of letters back to this young gentleman. And one of the things he said was, don't ask me if you're a poet. If you wake up in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning and the first thing that you think of and the only thing that you can think of is writing, then you're a writer. And it doesn't matter what I think. So, and I think that's really applicable to any arts or really any degree, is if this is the thing that you wake up in the middle of the night and you have a big idea about this thing, then go do it and be obsessed about it and research it, find out who can help you, find out who's already doing stuff similar, and be obsessed with that idea, and it will happen. And it's not up to anybody at this table or any instructor to tell you that it's not going to happen, because you're going to go do it. And just, yeah, that's my advice to every college student, but it just fit in perfectly with what you were saying. So
Thank you.
I have a final question for everyone. It's a two-parter, and this is going to be a little bit more you directed. And it is, what do you love about being at ASU? And what are you looking forward to in the 2023-2024, can you believe it, academic year that's coming up? Yeah. So what do you love about being at ASU? And then what are you looking forward to? And while you're thinking, I'll go first because it was my question. I had some time to think. Right. So what I love about ASU is being curious and getting to meet new people, and having that interdisciplinary connection where you can always be dreaming and building out new research. So my faculty line is in music therapy, and as I've been meeting more engineers and seeing where our fields cross between wearable devices and music therapy with people for dementia. And then I'm looking most forward to continuing to build a sense of community through the Office of Culture and Access across all the communities that we exist in a sense of belonging. So that's what I'm looking forward to for the academic year. Who wants to go next? What do you love about ASU? And what are you looking forward to for 23, 24?
I'm happy to go.
Okay.
I think just in the place where we're having this conversation, I think one of the things that I love about ASU is that we're trying to meet students where they're at. So, we're trying to invest in and grow online education so that it doesn't have to just be students who are here physically in the Valley or necessarily physically at the LA campus. And then we're trying to figure out ways for students to have pathways into education that necessarily don't already exist. So we're taking people with a bachelor's degree in something that isn't design and figuring out a path for them to get a graduate degree in design. We're coming up with paths in film for local community college students in California to transfer into the film program and finish out a bachelor's degree at an affordable price, right? That's not necessarily the expensive out-of-state tuition. So we're constantly having conversations about meeting these students where they're at and giving them access to what we have, which I think is a really important part of our charter. The thing that I'm looking forward to for the 23-24 academic year was actually just announced, which is the ASU and FIDM program that is moving forward. So if you're familiar with the FIDM school, the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, ASU has acquired that school, and that will be our fashion program moving forward. So I'm excited to delve into that work and see what that looks like and move forward with expanding our reach for the fashion program.
Great.
Melissa, why don't you go first? I'll go.
I mean, I've always felt that ASU is a very fluid place where you can find your interesting pathways that cut across buckets and boundaries and disciplinary silos. And that's been very beneficial for me. I'm myself a joint appointment between electrical engineering and the School of Arts and Engineering. And once you have skill sets developed in one specific area, it's very easy to branch out and do speculative, interesting, strange things at ASU. And that's what I like doing. What I'm looking forward to the next academic year on the curricular side, we are launching a lot of new programs, a lot of them. We have a concentration in games and interactive media, which is in final stages of approval. We are talking about another concentration in arts education or media arts education, and that's also in late stages of approval. We are really looking to sharpen some of our focus areas. In the past, we've created a bunch of concentrations in other schools, but we are rebranding the whole thing into focus areas, which are a lot more amenable and understandable by employers, like entertainment technology, games, installation design, things that are less school specific, but more profession specific. And those are all the things we're looking to do in the next year. Yeah.
I think Peter wanted to jump in on Zoom.
Oh, I wanted to toss to Melissa and see what she says before I go.
Yeah. So I think what I am particularly excited about in this next year is how we keep being able to put actions behind our vision and mission of creating more and more pathways for students from all sorts of backgrounds and places in the world to come into the film and media industry. And so that those stories and the storytelling that we have available to us in our culture just keeps expanding. And that to me is also really exciting. And also just getting to see, um, we have so many cool faculty and staff who have so many different types of expertise, et cetera. And when you put a bunch of creatives in the room in collaborative arts, which film being that one of the collaborative art spaces, it's just so exciting to be like, okay, what happens when you put all these people in a room and they all bring their different expertises and their different ways of telling the same story? What's the product go? And you just get cool things out of that. And that's part of what's exciting.
I will add to that. I'm gonna say, you guys can hear me? I
Mhm.
never know on this crazy phone. Um, I will say this. I have spent my professional career almost 25 years of being a Mexican American television writer trying to advance representation in front of the camera and behind the camera. All my shows, all my projects. And ASU excites me because when I met ASU as both an institution and the group of people I met, I felt like we were on the same mission. And um, I just love that. And I love the revolution of it because it's ain't easy. It's not easy. It's not something you can fall out of bed and do, but together, we can move mountains. And part of what I love about the student body is people that don't even know um, what they can't do yet. And so you want to help them get where they want to go. It's pretty amazing.
Pavan mentioned how fluid ASU is. Years ago, I read an article that was in the Wall Street Journal that ASU has a new program that starts practically every day. And they were comparing it to Harvard, which I think introduced one new program in the last 50 years. And so when you say fluid, there's nothing that you can't do at ASU. I think that's the thing that's exciting. The thing I'm excited about in the upcoming year is I've taught at ASU for 32 years and all studio. And so one of the things that I'm focusing on is how to create, and one of the things that's successful about our in-person program is the community. But how do you create community with students that are isolated throughout the world? And so that's really one of the things that we have a number of ideas how to do that. So because when you have a community, the energy amongst the students is just unprecedented, that they really can help one another. But with isolated students, how do you create that community? So we've started with some Behance sites so that students feel like we can put their work up and that they feel like they're part of that. And then we have some studio nights that we want to include online students as well as our in-person students to kind of start that community building and take it as far as we can. So that's one of the things I'm excited about in this upcoming year.
Great. Well, I thank y'all all for being here with me in the studio. And thank you again to our HIDA online team for creating the studio space for us to be, and just getting to share a little bit more about the online degrees. So thank y'all for being present as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.